Okay. Hello, everyone. Salam alaikum. Thank you for joining our learning clinic. My name is Sirin bin Brahim. I am part of the Let's Connect working group. I'm here with my colleagues as well. My co-facilitator here is Chinu, and also the team here. We are going to talk about branding, about logos, designs, so a lot of visual, a lot of beauty things that we're going to enjoy looking to, and we're going to hear amazing stories from our sharers. So what is our topic today? If Chino can change the slide. So our topic is going to be about color, clarity, and commons, crafting our brand for collective impact. So this topic, we have amazing shares. We have three main shares. We have ali.khaleel from Wikimedia Iraq. We have Marilla from Wikimedia Brasil. And then we have Yilmaz from Wikimedia Turkey or Wikimedia Community User Group Turkey. So in this learning clinic, we have an interesting agenda. So first we're gonna, as usual, start with Let's Connect introduction, followed by an icebreaker so that we can just, get comfortable and get ready for the learning clinic. And then we're gonna start with some guest speakers from Wikimedia Foundation, which we're gonna talk about brand identity, foundation, and movement, followed by Ali from Wikimedia Iraq, who's gonna talk about why visual identity matters. This is where we're going to know what does it mean to represent your community in logos and communication pieces, how communities were engaged in developing logos. He will show us as well how is it used for different communication processes and how they implemented this in their user group. And then we're going to have Marilla from Wikimedia Brasil. She's going to talk about how Wikimedia Brasil are rebranding their logo currently, the why, how, and challenges that they're facing, followed by some tips and tricks and reflections from Caner, who's going to teach us some designing tips. Then we're going to have, of course, a Q&A section. If you have any questions, save it until that section. But if you cannot resist asking, you can just drop your question in the chat. And later in that section, we're going to look at these questions. And then, of course, because we can't learn without implementing, we want to test what we learn. Then we're going to have an activity, an amazing, beautiful activity where we're going to have two breakout rooms, and we're going to, start implementing what we learned. And finally, we're going to have feedback and closure where we hear your feedback about the session, and then we say goodbye. Next slide, please. So before we start, we usually do this introduction. We have a culture that we always follow on Let's Connect. We want to remind everyone that Let's Connect is a peer learning program that is operated as a joint community foundation initiative. We are here to have a good time, and this is a rule in Let's Connect. We make people feel comfortable. We want to make people feel comfortable and confident to share their knowledge. And we also believe that everyone has something to learn, and no matter what the experience is. So that's Let's Connect. Before also we start, there is some trust and safety guide. If in case you wanted to contact the team, you have concerns or question or anything, you can simply reach out to the team, and you can identify them by seeing that with the team there is an LC or Let's Connect, so you can reach out to them immediately in the chat or through an email. So I mentioned briefly, you should have figured out why are we here today from the agenda, but let's recap or see what we're going to learn today. So this session is designed for Wikimedians, obviously, who are passionate about shaping the visual identity of their communities. We will explore together how to build strong, inclusive, and culturally grounded branding that reflects our shared values and strengthens our collective voice. We hope that we have three main outcomes or learning outcomes. So the first one, we hope that we're going to have a deeper understanding of how visual identity shapes community cohesion and external perception. Second, insights into the creative journey from the start to the end. And then third, practical takeaways on how you can adapt and apply within your local Wikimedia efforts and communities. So now that we know what we're going to learn, we're going to have an icebreaker, and this is where I'm going to hand it over to my amazing colleague, Chino.
Thank you, Serene, and welcome all of you once again. It's time to break some ice, to do some energy check in the room. So today's icebreaker question for all of you is, imagine if you are a brand, what would your visual identity look like? And the three major aspects that we are looking at is a color that would represent you, a font style that you feel like resonating, also the third one, which is a shape or a symbol that captures your essence, the thought that you want to convey by tracing your design. We will have a easy read through board link in the chat. And we have like 3 columns in that easy read through board. You can put your responses. The first column is what color that represents you. Second will be a font style that you would resonate with. And the third is, what is that shape or symbol? It would be a geometrical thing. It could be a cultural symbolic thing. It could be a heritage architecture. So what is that would capture your essence? Okay, I see people coming in. So hi back, those who are joining right now. We are in the introductory part, and right now we're in the icebreaker. There is a link to our Easy Retro board, which is our icebreaker link. And the question itself is, imagine if you are a brand, what would your visual identity look like? To capture your responses, we have 3 columns on the Easy Retro board. First, that represents any color that represents you. Second, any font style that resonates to your purpose. Third is any shape or symbol that captures your essence. And just as a heads up, those who are using the Easy Retro board for the first time, under each column, you will find a tiny plus symbol. You can click on it and add your response in the text box. Now, I'll move to the retro board to see if we have any responses. Just give me a second. Yeah, we do have responses in the board. Colors, pink, green, blue. Somebody has already marked blue, green, black and pink, coral, red, blue, lilac, blue, purple, burgundy, sky blue, green, pink. So look like blue and green are the top stars here. Okay, coral, again blue, black and golden, again blue, purple, red and sure gold. Okay, red. Okay. So we do have a majority of blue, green, and red. Okay. Coming to the shape or symbol, some universal iconic symbol. Okay. Hello, everybody. That's not a symbol, definitely. I see a flower. I see a wave, a plant, a flower, sunflower, a victory, if I understand the emoji correct, a double square box. Okay. A butterfly. That's an electric bulb I see. Stars. Aloo. Okay. I just hope that it is not the Indian aloo, which is potato. Then we have star, we have avocado, the moon, the lion. Okay. Coming to the font, well, I don't recognize the first one, apologies. The old typewriter font, Calibri, Poppins, my own customize if needed. Oh, wow. So we do have like font creators in the room today. Amazing. Calibri, Railway, Devanagari, handwriting. Okay, again. Cuneiform, sans serif, Times New Roman. Okay, Pacifico, Bold Safari, DM Sans. Okay, looks like Calibri is a hit here. So the essence that we wanted to know from you here through this icebreaker is how familiar you are with all these three things, like in terms of representation and in terms of acceptance. Because when we think about colors, it is mostly the thing that we would like to see, because different colors has different resemblance for different communities. Some see blue as a symbol of power. Some see blue as a symbol of unity. Some see green as a symbol of acceptance. So we just wanted to understand how familiar you are with all these aspects. And okay, before I move back to my screen, let me just quickly check if we have any responses in the chat. Cassie says, I love black and pink. Lukman says, a shape or a symbol that captures your essence. Okay. Gold, blue. Gold is my power color. Is it someone from the participant? Jessica, we would use all this to make Let's Connect symbol in future. We are already making it vibrant. Hopefully someday. And Rhoda, I would go for peach. Okay, we just have 2 more minutes left for this activity. Anyone wants to come off mic and share their responses? Happily welcome. In the meantime, I'll be sharing the rest of the responses that we have received. Okay, but not to put you on the spot, but Marilia, if you would have to choose a brand color, what color you would choose and why?
Thank you, Shinu. I would choose coral, but I really like to see that everyone, we can kind of have something in common with blue. And I think blue works a lot from very different materials and to send a good, peaceful message. So I like it blue also. And the elements, it's very diverse, but I think animals are more used, and so they can send a more a big presence and more messages. So I like to see it here. We have a lot of animals and actually a unicorn. This is unusual. I like it. I think it's funny.
Told you, different culture has different resemblance. So yeah. Okay, in the interest of time, we will go back to our main slide and we'll officially start our session with the sharers. And here I switch my screen to. Okay.
Thank you, Chino, for
Okay.
facilitating the icebreaker. And thank you, everyone who took part in this icebreaker. I hope you enjoyed it. Now we have guest speakers in this learning clinic from Wikimedia Foundation, where we're going to talk about brand identity, foundation, and movement. How does foundation see brand identity, and how does movement as well? And for this segment, we have 2 amazing sharers. We have, Chino, if we can change the slide. We have Corli. Strategy Lead Global Brand, Wikimedia Foundation, and Shrutika as well, Strategist Global Brand from Wikimedia Foundation. I'm gonna hand it over to them.
Thank you. Thank you. That was a great icebreaker. And I feel like you made my job easier and Corli's job easier. So thank you. Okay, I need to share my screen. Hopefully that should work. Okay. Sorry, give me a second.
Are you able to share your screen with the control, or you can send the link in the chat? I'll present the screen.
I'm not able to preview the window. So 1 second. Hold on. I think I need to quit and rejoin, so give me a minute. Sorry for the delay. Just Zoom issues.
Maybe in the meantime, we can hear from Corli.
Sure. Hello. I am the Senior Brand Strategist, as you already heard. I'm based in Cape Town in South Africa. I've met some of you, I think, along the way. And I think really this is Shrutika's the main talker from our presentation. I'm primarily here to learn from all of the amazing work that you have been doing. There we go, saved by the presentation. I'm really excited to basically just learn from and see what you've all created. It sounds like there's a lot of really cool work that's going to be shared tonight. So I'm just here for that part, really, to be honest, and to answer questions if they do come up.
Fantastic. Okay, just want to make sure everyone can see my
Yes.
screen and the presentation slide, right?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic.
Please go ahead.
Amazing. Again, sorry for for these technical glitches, but I guess they're unavoidable. So as they mentioned, I'm Shrutika, and Corli has already given her introduction, so I won't go in too deep into it. But we work, and I may have missed this, but we work in the brand studio, which is a small team in the communications department. And I had a chance to see earlier versions of today's presentations, which were fantastic, and I can safely say you're in good hands. So I will just take you through a high-level overview of the Wikimedia brand system. Okay, everything, can you see me?
Shrutika, sorry
Yeah.
to interrupt you, but yes, I think you need to move your speaker note window
Got it. Can you see me?
somewhere else. I don't know if you have space for it.
There you go.
There we
Fine.
go.
I can just close it. Okay. Wonderful. So when I first started off in branding, which was years ago, it was mostly because of my interest in how brands looked. So logos, fonts, colors, a lot of what you already covered in the icebreaker. But over time, I realized that those external visuals are just representations of internal values. And and branding is the process of making sure both align with each other. So the external and the internal tell the same story. And that's why you'll see a lot of brands have their mission, organizational structure, etc., and we're no different in that sense. In our case, our central brand is Wikimedia. And this is the core. It stands for reliability, it stands for trust, and it stands for a reliable source of information and knowledge globally. We also have our Wikimedia project and product identities, which are created by the communities itself. So many of the visual identities are created by community members themselves. And then we have the Wikimedia organizations and other bodies and sub-brands like, sorry, technical glitches. Okay, yeah. Like the Wikimedia affiliates, which are recognized by AFCOM, many of whom are here today. So these ones are also created and adapted from the main brand, but they may or may not look the same depending on the community and the group. But the role that they play is crucial because what it does is the similarities and differences help to establish connections to the main brand, but also retain a unique individual identity. As the foundation, one of our key roles is stewardship, which means to make sure that all users of the Wikimedia brand protect the goodwill that has been built through all the work that the foundation, the communities, everyone does together. But in reality, everyone here, so everyone on this call, not on this call, is a steward, and everyone has a role to play. So whether you're a volunteer, external vendor, a partner, or other foundation staff, everyone has a role to play in maintaining this goodwill and this association. When I talk about brand system, ours is quite unique. It is participatory. It is co-created by the foundation and the community. So in some cases, the foundation will lead brand design, in which case the community helps that design by taking it forward, building on it, extending it, making it richer, and validating it in some ways. In other cases, community members build projects like Wikimedia, right? In which case, the foundation's role is to support it, give advice, give guidance, approve it, all of that. But largely, what we're trying to do here is to create a holistic, cohesive, strong visual identity connected across the world through these individual elements, through the marks, logos, as we mentioned. And we do that so that when a young teen in one part of the world meets a member from a Wikimedian from another part of the world, they can, or sees a project element from in another part of the world, they identify that this is part of one system, and that system is built to communicate a simple message: free knowledge, right? So it is a very non-obvious and abstract way of building connections and bridges across the world when people don't know each other personally. So now that I've covered the larger co-created relationship and this structure, and I'm sure if there are questions, I'm happy to answer them, but I don't want to take up too much time. So I will just go over some of the resources at your disposal. A few years ago, we updated the brand resources. I'm not sure how many people are familiar with those resources, but there's the brand portal, which hosts most of our community resources, including these templates, presentation templates, which you can adapt freely. And then we also have the DIY logo creator. I know a lot of you are affiliates or are connected to affiliates. So these logo creators are meant to make the job of creating individual icons and symbols easier. The other stuff that exists on the portal are our guidelines, which include marks, community logos, fonts, colors. They're pretty detailed. I don't need to speak about them right now, but they're all linked and they give you hierarchies of fonts. They give you they're all open source. They give you hierarchies of colors, contrast, all the considerations that it takes to go into the details of your design work. There's also information on imagery and illustrations, what styles we use. A lot of them are community generated again. Affiliate taglines, how to generate your own taglines, what are some questions to consider as you step into this process, and also how to attribute content that you based on the Creative Commons licenses that you find on any of the projects. We also in 2022 realized that there may not have been as much insight into the behind the scenes work done when it comes to the Wikimedia brands. So we released the first ever brand health tracker at that point. in which surveys global online perception of the Wikimedia brands and really tracks the progress made by the movement and the projects in terms of brand building. Then we also released the first brand stewardship report in 2023, which communicates a lot of this information transparently, and it's meant to be a tool for dialogue and for discussion. And if there are any questions, I'm sure a lot of it is explained, a lot of the background information is explained here. And lastly, there are some other additional resources and information. A lot of it is, most of it is readily available. AFCOM, the Affiliates Committee, provides guidelines on how to create logos for new affiliates and helps entities establish their footing. The trademarks policy has very detailed guidance on how to use Wikimedia trademarks. And lastly, if there's anything tricky, complicated, you can feel free to reach out to trademarks at wikimedia.org. We often refer you back to the policy just because that has most of the information, but I'm sure there are cases in which we can always help out. And the links, etc. I know I was pretty fast and pretty short and brief in my explanation, but I will be sharing this deck with everyone so they can, so all of you can review the links. So please reach out. And thank you. I'm excited to see the rest of the presentations. Apologies for technical glitches and any hiccups or if I was too fast.
No, you were not. You were perfect. Thank you so much, Shrutika. It all went well. And it was a brief presentation, yet it was very informative. So thank you so much. And thank you for sharing all the resources and Corli as well. So make sure everyone to check the links that they shared. And if you have any questions, we can always ask in the chat and then we will look into them later. So now we're going to move on to the second topic, which is why visual identity matters. Although Shrutika did mention some stuff like why it matters, but we're going to hear this from our second sharer, who's ali.khaleel from Wikimedia Iraq. So Ali, off to you. تفضل.
Thank you, Celine. Thank you. And hello, everyone. Just wait. I lost my connection with my monitor. Just a second. Okay, there we go. Okay, so sorry. Hello, everyone. So I'm Ali Khaleel. I'm from Iraq, and I'm now managing Wikimedia Iraq user group. I joined the Wikimedia movement and all this volunteer work 5 years ago during COVID. And during that time, our community wasn't that active in Iraq. So this presentation also is a part of our efforts of reactivating the user group. But first of all, I'm glad to be here with all the colleagues here, especially Marilla from Brazil and Jenner from Turkey. And also let's connect that they are always bring us together to connect us together from all over the world. So today I'm very excited to share with you Wikimedia Iraq, how we build our new visual identity that connects our ancient heritage with modern vision. So yes, next slide, Yes, so just a brief background about Wikimedia Iraq, so we come on the context. First of all, Wikimedia Iraq, it is a recognized user group started in 2015. And this year we will become 10 years old in October. We are mainly participating in the Arabic community. And also we have other languages like Kurdish. We have some also community who are participating in Kurdish languages. And also, if you don't know about Iraq, it is a country in the Middle East. with almost 50 million population. And I'm mainly living in Baghdad, the capital, where most of Iraqis are living there. And also, luckily, we have our country is the main birth of the oldest civilization and where the alphabet was started. It was in Iraq, in Mesopotamia. So why telling you that? We will see in the next slide. It is all connected with our visual identity. So we decided to reactivate the user group, starting by creating a visual identity that represents our mission and vision. So when we think about visual identity as Wikimedia Iraq or as people, like in general, we directly maybe think about logo. But for us, Wikimedia Iraq, we started to think about the story that we build on our logo that we want to use within our user group. So first, we were thinking it is about our volunteers when they see this identity used in a poster, social media, or event manner, they will feel represented, and it tells them that you are part of something meaningful and you are belong here. So this creates a sense of belonging and pride for our community. And second, it helps us to build our recognition externally, whether we are reaching out partners in institutes or the general public. So people start associate with our visual style, with the professionalism and purpose. And the third point, this is very close to our hearts because we need to reflect our community, our culture, our values, and also connected to Wikimedia mission. As I mentioned earlier, like Iraq is one of the oldest home of knowledge and civilizations on Earth. So we wanted to capture this and reflect it in our visual identity. So next slide. All the points I talked about in the previous slide were coming from the heart of our community. In 2024, we started this effort of reactivating the user group. So we made several events with our community to talk to them what they want to do within Wiki projects and how do they see Wikimedia Iraq and how we can reflect their thoughts and ideas within one identity that represent all Iraqis and they feel belong to this identity. So building on that, next slide, and representing a community visually is a responsibility for us. Our logo and our materials needed to resonate with the Iraq from different backgrounds, connect with Wikimedia mission. So we asked ourselves 3 questions. What one symbol that represents Iraq, history and identity? And the other is how we can see this icon or symbol tell our story. So if you can see here in the slide, the new logo has a palm inside the Wikimedia, this half circle. So this represents the old palm of Babylon that we have in our heritage. And also you can see the cuneiform that also written on the left of the word Iraq, which is Wikimedia, and on the right, we wrote Wikimedia Iraq like in the cuneiform. So that we presented in this new logo that is already inherited from the Wikimedia Foundation main logo. So the third question we ask ourselves is, how do we create a modern and deeply rooted, make it like the visual identity deeply rooted in our culture and connect our heritage with our modern vision? So we came with this slogan, from clay tablets to digital tablets. So all the knowledge was started on and documented on clay tablets in Mesopotamia and Iraq. And now we are continue on this knowledge by documented in digital tablets. So our slogan is from clay tablets to digital tablets. These symbols, like this, you can see here, yes, the Palm of Babylon, how it is visualized on the clay tablets, and also the cuneiform and the clay tablets also. So this was our main, let's say, icon that we brought our thoughts to build our new visual identity. Yes, next. So in the local context, maybe some people say that visual identity doesn't matter or something, but we will see how that affects how our community see these ideas from their eyes. So next slide. Yeah. So something interesting like Shrutika presented is she bring Wikimedia Iraq logo and how it is inherited from Wikimedia Foundation logo. And we can see here one of the volunteers, how he saw from his own perspective our logo. He said, I see the rounded blue half circle represent Wikimedia, and the palm in the middle as the user group. And it is as the foundation feeds the tree to sustain and grow with the contributions. So when we hear this comment, we notice that we delivered our idea, because now each one from our community can see the brand from his different ideas and thoughts, and he can connect with our mission and with what we are doing here in Iraq, and connected with the heritage that we have in the country. So the appearance, next, we can see now, next, we have now this meta page. If you can compare between the old one that we presented earlier and this one. Now we have very organized meta page. Whenever someone wants to see what Wikimedia Iraq is doing, he will be directly inspired from the visuals that we have and the logo, and he can directly connect about what we are doing inside Wikimedia Iraq as a user group. Next. Next, and also we have this Instagram page where we are now have more organized visuals that represent, and we are trying honestly with each post to bring something from each province or each city in Iraq. So we tell everyone that we are represented here in Wikimedia Iraq, and how we are trying always to connect all the backgrounds that we have and diversity in our designs that we share on social media. Next. Also, you can see here the printings, how it looks now after rebranding. We have the stamps, postcard, tote bag, and this roll-up. That is always, we are using it in our events. So honestly, this is helping us to bring more people to our user group. So when we provide them with these stickers or something, they will feel directly connected to Wikimedia Iraq. So they start volunteering, and they know what they are doing, because they will directly connect themselves with our heritage, and inspired by the heritage to contribute on wiki projects. Next. Here's the challenges that we have faced in building the visual identity. So the big challenging thing was the ethnic and religion and language diversity that we have in our user group. But when we set up to design a visual identity, it should be inclusive, unifying, and thoughtful for all the diverse community that we have in Iraq. So it was a sensitive task, because this diversity was always a source of conflict within our country. But we wanted something that really bring all this diverse community together in one brand. So we found the answer in ancient Mesopotamia and civilization that we have. So the shared heritage of all Iraqis, that the one thing that everyone that agreed on and can connect connect us all together in this country. So we didn't talk about the religious sides or languages. We just talk about in our visual identity about the heritage that connect all Iraqis in one shared goal, let's say. Next. Yeah, so last thing, the learning that we got from this identity is to start to think about the story, not a logo. It is important because you don't need to get a perfect visuals without having a story, because if you have a stories, so everyone will be connected and everyone will see the meaning behind our voluntary work within our wiki movement and all the projects that we are working on. And work together on the tools and with the people. So we cannot be or reach this point of getting this identity without sitting with all the community and do brainstorming with the volunteers to see their thoughts about how they want to see them represented in one user group. And also, this is not the final, let's say, identity we have, but it is something that is ongoing. And whenever we see something we can improve in our visual identity, so we can work on that and make our identity more better looking and useful for our all kind of use. So that's all from my side. We will share, maybe I will share with you also the div posts. You can see more about our visual identity and how we build it, the full story. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Shukran, Ali. Thank you so much. And don't worry about sharing the links because Taiba and Mohammed Qais shared all the links in the chat. And we gathered all the resources that you're putting in the chat in an Etherpad, so you can easily access that link and find everything there. Now we move on to Wikimedia Brasil, Marilia. I just want to remind everyone that we have interpretation available into Portuguese and Spanish. Apologies that we don't have Arabic and French available. Happens sometimes, last minute changes, but it's all sorted. So yeah, Marilia, please go.
Thank you, Serin. Can you hear me well? Is this okay? Great. So I'm going to share my screen, and you can tell me if everything is on presentation. You can see my screen?
Yes,
Okay.
we can.
Thank you. So I'm going to try to make it for the time. I'm going to try to speak a little bit faster so I can make sure that everyone gets to participate in the dynamics that we have. And I am Marilla. I am from Wikimedia Brasil, and I'm going to talk about the development of the new visual identity for the organization. This is still a work in progress, so I don't have any results. All I have is a process, some goal, and some challenges, and a wonderful group of persons who are just by my side to overcome these challenges. So, like Ali just said, when we think about visual identity, we are thinking about every time we receive a material, we receive a report or a publication or any deliverable, and you can almost immediately recognize it, where it comes from, who is the organization behind it. And this has been done by a whole diverse group of actors, since big companies, global organizations like the UN with this wonderful work of the Sustainable Development Goals. You can almost immediately identify something. Someone is on the waiting room. Oh, okay. I'm just not going to look at the notifications. If you want me to get faster, please let me know on the microphone, because I won't look so I can get focused. So, and also this has been done by small local platforms like this on the right side. This is a platform, in a Brazilian platform for social organization. This has nothing to do with us. It's just a benchmark example. But I think it's a good example because they have their own logo, but they also have a whole set of visual elements. They have the same visual lines, the colors. You can identify their work along with a whole group of products, whether it's on website, on a PDF, or whatever you are seeing. And this is the same for Figma, which I think Shrutika sent us an example as a tool, because this is a platform used by designers to develop visual identities, and it has its own style guide. You can see this is a set of reusable components built from guidelines and assets that help maintain consistent. So every time you see a material with this color palette, this kind of elements, this kind of this grid system, the space between things, you can see the iconography, and you can see this is part of the same organization. I think we can all see the value of that and the importance of that, but sometimes it's not that easy to implement because it takes a lot of effort, and you have to make an investment of time and energy to take a look at yourself. Because whenever people sees the organization, the work you do, they are actually looking at someone, at something that has to reflect what is the internal positioning of the organization. So a good branding work is a work when people look at something and they can see yourself, the self of the organization. This is where the narrative lives. So to get a good branding work, you have to truly connect with the ideas about who you are, what you are doing, and how you are doing it. And sometimes we can all understand that it's not sufficient to have a beautiful element or a beautiful visual construction if it is not connected with the core ideas that you want to send, the core concepts, and the way you want to be seen. So if you don't have this kind of this definition, this inside definition, you probably won't have a good external identity send it to the people. And here at Wikimedia Brazil, how are we? We have been doing a pretty good work about the internal positioning. This is our strategic manifest. It is a pretty good document and a page from the strategic cycle to between 2023 and 2025. And it is a wonderful document, especially for me in the communication and the communication team, because we cannot have anything done in the communication products and deliverables that is not coherent with these kinds of definitions that were made by the community along a series of debates, of constructions, of definitions they try to make until this point. You can see in this manifest everything about us, our mission, our vision, our purpose, our personality even. And you can see the kind of concepts, the kind of words that we, it's probably good words to reflect on a visual identity. So if we want people to understand that Wikimedia Brazil try to amplify, to like these words I highlighted by myself, okay? If we want people to understand that we are here to amplify, improve, diversify the content and the community, and we are also here to support other organizations, we probably want these kinds of concepts to be the base, to be the foundation for any communication product. But here is my first but. We are now in the way of changing this cycle, because this cycle ends up this year and we already started to build in the next one. This theory of change is another document, another page that was launched in the end of last year, also the result of a series of community debates and constructions. And we have done a pretty good work about trying to listen to people to understand this theory of change is a way of understanding our scenario. What are we looking for? What kind of challenge do we have in the ecosystem, the digital ecosystem in Brazil? And what kind of changes do we want to make? What kind of role do we want Wikimedia Brazil to have? And this is the first document that will soon be introducing.
Hi, Marilia.
So,
Just
okay.
sorry to interrupt. Just a heads up that can you speak a little bit slower?
Sorry?
Bit paced down. Yeah. Speak a little bit slower. It is for the interpretation.
For the interpretation,
Sorry.
okay, I'm trying to go fast for the timing, but the interpretation needs more time. Okay, I'm trying to balancing things.
Please.
No, not a problem. I'll talk slowly. So I'm not saying that everything will change. Just let me check if I'm in the right page. Okay. I'm not saying that everything will change with this in this new strategic cycle, because we are still the same organization made by mostly the same person, but we are now in a new moment of our activities in Brazil. We have now new challenges and a new vision of the future of the changes we want to make. So this must be reflected in our identity, both in the definitions, in the internal positioning, and also in the external identity. The ideal world would be that we first get to shape this internal positioning and get to understand us as a group, as a chapter, and then we kind of have to translate it to a visual aspect of this core concept. But because of the timing, we are actually doing it in parallel. We're doing both processes at the same time. So we are now just trying to understand and to build our new strategic cycle with a new manifest and a new approach about who we are and what do we do and how do we want to be recognized by other organizations or people. And at the same time, how do we want to be seen, to be perceived by other people? So this is kind of tricky, but at the same time, this is why it is so important for us to listen to the community, to ensure the community participation. So we are trying really hard to make sure that participatory methodologies are used so we can engage people. We cannot have the same people all the time in all the processes, but if we listen to the community and we make sure that they can get to share their perspectives, their goals, their expectations about the movement, about the organization, then we get more chances to have a very good documentation, both on the definitions and the visual aspects. Okay, I'm trying to go slow. And what about the external aspect? Well, until now, until January, we had only this logo. We had no other visual elements as patternized. So we have this. It was actually voted by the community as a user group at the time, Wikimedia Brasil. So we had the logo WMB and no visual aspects defined. Except I like to think of this as an exercise that we did when we built the new website for the organization. We also have a page on Meta, of course, a Meta page, just like Ali showed on the Wikimedia Iraq. But we also have a web page, which is where most people that do not know us until now, or people who are not following us on the wiki pages, they can get to know us and know our work. They get to the website. And so in 2023, the team made a study and a design process, and they developed a visual identity for the website. It was not for the whole institution, but this was kind of a good material for us in the communication. They decided to use orange, gray, and black as core colors. And this kind of identity was then replicated across our social media and other institutional communication materials. But there was no pattern for graphic elements. They were applied based on convenience and context. If we want more casual productions, we can use illustrations or emojis. If we are doing something more formal, we are doing something more geometric ones or clean lines and a few visual elements. The only pattern is the Montserrat font, like it is recommended for the organization. This is where you can see this application. So we have here our website, our flyer, our podcast, an email market from one of our campaigns, and our Instagram feed. You can see that not only orange, gray, and black, but it kind of have a pattern. We are trying to do this every time we want to send a message or talk about anything that is common to the organization as a whole, not only one or another project. But we are not just an institution, unique institution. We also are responsible for lots of projects, of campaigns, of events and programs. And you can see it right here, a very diverse scenario. Each initiative has its own visual identity. We do not do one visual identity for everything that we do, but every time we feel that is necessary, we develop one. So you can see it here, our conference in 2022, our mock course, our initiative for funding support, and other campaigns. And this is good because we understand that they probably need to send their own messages and they want to connect with people that are particularly participating in these projects or campaigns or events. But we got no connection between them, and either between them and the institutional communication. So probably someone who gets an email or a report from this kind of initiative, they mostly won't have chance to connect with this whole family of products. No defined graphic standards and no primary font in use. Some examples of other visual identities that we developed. This one is actually the theory of change visual identity. It is inspired by some murals from a poet from Rio de Janeiro, the city of Rio. We developed inspired by it, and we also developed a set of illustrations that they are used throughout the document. And then we can use it in the communication every time we want to highlight some of the definitions, for instance, or some of the principles of the organizations of this document. We can send it to the community, just a small portion of the text and one illustration, like a cup of coffee, and people in the community probably will understand, well, this is coming from the theory of change. The same other example about a campaign that we launched on February about copyright and copyleft. I will skip it. I can talk about it later, but I have no time. So, and the last one about our conference, our community conference, the WikiCon, that is going to happen almost a month from now in Salvador, Bahia. And we wanted this visual identity to reflect the vibrant and colorful and joyful culture of Bahia, but also we wanted to reflect something that is very common in different territories in Brazil, something that has this pattern of like craft-made, handmade, kind of the same line between them. And so this is very inspiring for us. And you can see we try to use the orange, so we still have some connection between our other products. But in the present moment, what inspired this process of developing the new visual identity for Wikimedia Brazil? Why is that important now? Well, it has always been important. It is, as I just told you, it is needed. It's been a long time. But right now, in this year, we were happily recognized as a chapter. We are now no user group, but a chapter. And so this makes a great opportunity for us, because as a chapter, there is an urgent need to guide the organization towards a more cohesive and easily recognizable visual identity, one that clearly signals our presence within the Wikimedia movement. And also, as an organization built by people, this new visual identity must be recognized as a symbol of the community that makes Wikimedia Brasil what it is. Again, this was always something that we need, something that we wanted along with the logo. But this is right now we have a pretty good context to make people feel belonging, just like Ali told us in the case of Iraq. We also want people feeling like they are part of this new chapter that has actually 11 years of action, but right now in the new moment. Also, we have always the search for notoriety. So we need a unified approach that strengthens communication, fosters recognition, and encourages participation. There is a pressing need for cohesive communication to support initiatives across a country of continental dimensions and highly diverse audiences. This is the map. This is only the GLAM week partnerships. So we highlighted in the map. We actually have more activities and volunteers all over Brazil, but this is just to get an idea about the size of our challenge. If you have someone here in Curitiba in south and someone here in Belém in the north, or someone here in Salvador where the conference is going to happen, they are living in very diverse situations. They are dealing with a lot of other situations and aspects and possibilities and needs. And we want them all to feel part of the same thing. So we need to boost engagement and visibility for whatever they are doing. And so people can recognize themselves and can know, okay, this is part of a family of the same institution. What is next? Well, for the logo, we have received established rules and guidelines from Wikimedia Foundation. So we just understood that we could no longer have our own logo, an authentic logo. We have to use the same one for every chapter. Okay, we understand the need for coherence, inclusive belong the affiliates. But this is kind of some situation where we started to think, okay, we will do with one logo that every other chapters have, but what customizations are possible? How can we make this one logo, the same logo from everyone, have a little bit of Brazilian touch? So we are trying some experimental, like the use of our flag colors, the blue, green, and yellow. And we still wondering, how can this logo be integrated into a unique and representative visual identity? So the challenges, top 5 challenges for this work. First one, we need to find something that unites us and something that changes, shows what is unique about us. So this visual identity must represent concepts such as free knowledge and open science and open source, everything that is common to all of us in the global movement. But also we want something that represents and reflects how is the Brazilian way of dealing with that. So it must have a local touch. We also need to find something that is unique, an institutional unique identity, alongside with a multiplicity of projects and campaigns, because they're not going to stop. We're still going to have this very vibrant scenario, but we want to have at least one element. We want a visual identity that is flexible, coherent, yet flexible, so we can adapt and make things more correlated. The third point, we need, am I talking too fast? Sorry, I'm kind of accelerating. collective creation with our engaged community. We need to balance in time between welcoming volunteer contributions and making concrete progresses. So the ideal world would be that we have every time we wanted to listen to everyone, to get every feedback, and to have all the possibilities studied, and then finally we'll have a good visual identity. But the reality is that we have time to deliver something. So sometimes we need to actually make a decision like, okay, this part of the discussion now has to end and we have to do next steps. The fourth point, we need to balancing synchronous meetings with asynchronous contributions, because we are not everyone at the same place at the same time. We are doing our best to get meetings together, people to exchange perspectives and ideas and to better understand our goals with this visual identity. But we are dealing with a lot of different agendas and volunteering time. So people must have time to contribute, like a few days in each step to contribute whenever they can. And the last one is we need to find a concise and focused briefing based on shared points of alignment in a context of diversity of perspectives and expectations. Because especially when we are looking at something about the visual aspects, this has a subjective aspect. Sometimes you can gather 10 people and 5 of them will say, I love it blue, and 5 of them will say, no, I love it red. So you need to understand how to balancing these perspectives and these backgrounds from different people, different contexts, and different expectations. We need to find something that is common to all of us, okay? So just final steps. We formate a committee for this collective development in March this year. We invited the communications committee that was already in action since 2023. And we extended this invitation to some community members that were more participative. When we were recognized as a chapter, they like searching for us, for the professional team, and trying to understand what is next for us. How can we change the visual aspect of this organization? So we have now 14 members, and we're doing at least one meeting per month until October. What are we doing? Research. We're doing benchmark of other chapters and organizations. We're doing workshops and activities to share perspectives and shape the narrative, trying to identify the key concepts, the visual elements, and the viewpoints and priorities of this group representing the whole community. And finally, we will try to develop a briefing to present to the agency, aiming to establish a foundation for the executing of the job. So this is us. I'm very happy to be with this presence. I'm sorry, Mireia and August, I didn't have the photograph in the meeting that you were in. I'm very sorry. I'm going to correct this in the next one. But we have overall guidelines for this work. I'm going to skip it because this is just the Wikimedia Foundation Visual Identity Guidelines Shrutika just told us about. The benchmark, we look at other chapters to understand the brand guidelines, the applications within the movement. So we look at very beautiful works like Wikimedia Argentina. Lucia is here, very happy to know that you're here. And also Wikimedia United Kingdom and Wikimedia Chile and other chapters that make a very good visual identity work. We try to analyze their experiences, to identify good practices, and to provide guidance for our own work. We do dynamics, trying to share a word cloud, kind of a word cloud. This is in Portuguese because I wanted to bring in the language that I receive it, trying to understand our strength, which personality should the identity reflect, and also what do we want the identity to transmit. So this is the core narrative. You can see it right here. I can tell you, we want it to be very welcoming. We want it to be the feeling of belonging, of collaboration, of joyful, diversified, colorful, friendly, accessible, and fluid. We want something that is less restricted. Next steps, the last slide, we are trying to, well, we now defined a very wonderful professional, Vicente. I don't know if he's here. He has done these works that I'm showing to you. We want to involve him in the committee's collaborative process by outlining a phased timeline, so we can incorporate time for this aspect, this process that we are doing participatory methodologies. We want to share the briefing and the strategic direction for this construction for the visual identity, and begin developing at least 2 approaches to see what are the possibilities for us, which one is more like, oh, this is going to go to this way. And at least with the community, this is very important, last but not least, we want to do feedback sessions starting in the Wikicon, in the conference in July. We are designing an A/B test with some elements, where at least 2 proposals, so people can look at it and to understand, oh, how does this makes you feel? What kind of ideas and concepts do this transmit to you? And so we can collect data to validate one of those proposals or parts of the proposals. And we want to receive inputs during the process from people who are not in the committee, wanting to share their own perspectives, ideas, inspirations. We will have shared information through diff posts. We love it, the diff posts and other community communications, to make sure this is a transparent process and that people truly understand what are we now, what are the next steps, and where is this leading to. And actually, we have an approval process. So the community will receive a first version after the committee ends up this production with the designer. We will receive the first version, then is given time to review it, and then they provide feedback. An updated version is again presented, followed by a community session to validate the final proposal. Hopefully, this will be by October. So at the end of the year, we can launch a new, beautiful, vibrant, and full of life visual identity as this community is. Thank you very much. This is it.
Thank you so much, Marilia. Obrigada for your presentation, amazing presentation. I'm sorry that we were like the time, but you did amazing, and the interpreters did not, complain. So amazing. Thank you so much. Now we're gonna move on to the our last sharer of the day, Yilmaz. So Yilmaz, handing over the mic to you.
Hello, my name is Caner, and I am Communication Support Officer of Wikimedia Community User Group Turkey. Today, I will introduce design process from my side. I have some suggestions for basic design, and I will show my previous wiki works. Yeah, next slide, please. First of all, design process has 5 steps for myself. Next slide, please. The first one is understanding the purpose and message. It means the design should be express the purpose to people. After the getting feedback, after the getting a brief from client or community, I need to understand it, and I need to reflect to express the message and purpose. For example, Turkic Wikimedia conference, our slogan was unity for knowledge. For this season, I designed the slogan logo to express this purpose and message. Also for C meeting Istanbul. Istanbul is connecting Asian and European sites with bridge. For this season, I designed the logo, abridged the knowledge, and yeah. The next slide, please. The second step is research. For example, if I'm starting to design a conference about technology, I am researching the previous successful design projects on internet. Also, it's my personal interest. I love to put traditional elements from history and culture to as conference stickers, icons, etc. I love to combine with wiki things. The next slide, please. For example, for Turkic Wikimedia conference, I inspired from Turkish ties and Central Asian yurt and dombra. Next slide, please. Also for C Meeting Istanbul's icon set. Next slide, please. I inspired from tulips, cats, and tea. Next slide, please. Also for Wikimedia Hackathon Istanbul. Next slide, please. I inspired from Galata Tower, technology, and I used Wikimedia Hackathon's green. Next slide, please. You can see Wikimedia Hackathon Istanbul's local sticker set. Also, you can find on Commons. I combined with wiki things. For example, the cats are talking in Wikidata language. Also, a cat waving its paw inside of a MediaWiki logo. Next slide, please. The third step is draft works and getting feedback. This step is very important because we starting to finalize and getting the last shape of our work. In this step, I usually am sending 2 or 3 examples to getting feedback, and I am asking to them, is it working? Is it expressing the purpose and message? What do you think? And as you see, for example, for Turkic Wikimedia conference, I designed some draft, and you can see the last one, the final work. It's from Turkic historical alphabet, and I shaped like a human, and they come together for a common goal. Next slide, please. After the finalizing, getting the confirmation from community or a client, I am starting to implementing for social media, for printed materials, etc. Also, in some cases, we need to prepare a brand guide. Also, I am designing for it. You can find the Turkic Wikimedia conference brand guide on Meta. Next slide, please. Design steps are done. Yeah, right. But in this step, I am evaluating the experience. I am asking to participants on-site or virtually, what do you think about the conference design? How do you feel with colors, etc.? And I am creating a final output for my next projects. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Usually, if I need to design a logo or any logo, maybe sometimes printed materials like notebooks, etc. Usually I am using vector-based programs. But if I need a design mailing, templates, social media posts, cover, etc., I prefer bitmap-based programs. And as technique, actually, I don't have any specific technique, but sometimes I'm sometimes using a traditional notebook for sketch, sometimes using my graphic tablet connected with a computer. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. If you need to design something for a brand and if you don't have any idea, I can suggest just follow their identity guide because probably they already introduced how do you use their logo, etc. But if you don't have, it's not a problem. I have some suggestions about design. The first of all, you should limit to your usage of the color. Yes, you can. Your design can be very colorful, and you can love to use colors, but it shouldn't be very mixed, because it should be clear to express your content to a viewer. Also, I can suggest you should just use maximum two fonts in your design. For example, if your heading font is font A, you can use font B for your body text. Or yeah, that's all. Also, you should leave clear space for your design, because for example, if you put your logo and content to very close to corners, it can be looks a little bit different. But if you give equal spaces from top and bottom or left and right, it should be more clear. Also, you should pay attention to your image and visual choice, because your visuals should be connected with your content. Because every element in your design coming together and showing a clear design. Next slide, please. If as community, if you don't have any specific design language for social media, you can use Wikimedia colors. Also, you can inspire from Wikimedia Foundation's social media post. For example, for Wikimedia User Group Turkey, I inspired from Wikimedia Foundation's post, because their social media design language is very simple and useful for sharing the free knowledge. I cannot easily understand the content, and it looks very clear. Next one, please. But sometimes we may need some specific designs for conference. For example, for C Meeting Istanbul, I designed some specific theme designs. Next slide, please. Also for wiki editathons, for Wikipedia milestone celebrations, etc. I am designing some specific things. Next slide, please. Thank you.
Amazing. This is what we say, that learning from the best is always a graceful thing. Thank you for sharing your insight, our dear sharers. Now we will proceed with our question and answer round, which will be, first we will go for our activity. And by the time we jump for that, we'll use this 5 minutes from now, just for a quick round of questions. Do we have any direct questions for our sharers? Anything for Ali, Marilla, or Yilmaz from the participants? All the resources are linked in the Etherpad link. When I say resources, these are like all the presentation slides, all the links that were shared by sharers in the chat and participants. But after that also, do we have any direct question? I'll just wait for 30 seconds. We have to catch up with the time. Okay, we have a question in the chat. Which software you recommend for SVG? I think your question is to Jano. So yes, if I get it. Yeah. Jano, which software you use or recommend to generate SVG files?
I'm using Adobe programs, but I can suggest Inkspace for open sourced program for SVGs.
we not only have questions, but we have compliments for you as well. Nice work, ma'am. Lovely designs in the process. Always inspiring. Okay, any more questions? Anyone who would like to unmute and ask in at least in next 3 minutes before we proceed for our group activity? So much talent in us, yes. And just as a what do you call another feather in the cap, Jano was one of the honorary awardee received in 2024 Wikimania as the media contributor of the year.
Yeah.
Yes. Because he has not only worked for his user group and the conferences that he has been helping with organizing, but he has also supported in his volunteer capacity, designing like brand materials and like other helpful stuffs, including the Human Camp. So keep up the good work. Okay, I don't see any more questions in the chat, not on the Etherpad as well. Okay, great. Okay, then we will go for the activity. That will be a breakout room activity, and I would request Cassie to prepare the participants to breakout rooms. And those who will be needing the translation support, we will have the. Okay. So for the first part, yeah, we do have like suggestions on photos and videos, which represents like, epitomes from Paris and France in general. Of course, the Eiffel Tower is the first one. Then the heritage structure of the city itself, Paris. Then food, I'll little bit park it for later. Yeah, the third one that we have is like, again, the structural heritage of the city and ancient civilization clock. It shows the fourth one. Then the Eiffel Tower with lights in night, croissant with French fries, pink roses, which has also a cultural relevance from the French culture itself. Then the pyramid structure, and we also have coffees and pastries. For the colors, we have suggestions on the pastel colors of the flag, the national flag. Then we have red and blue, and basically the French tricolor palette, along with purple and bees. Coming to the symbol part, we do have like, suggestions on the Catholic art, illustrations inspired from the humanized, like, version of interactions in the French culture, and some of the tangible ones or the visible ones, snail in a beret, then Mona Lisa with a glove. And Ali also mentioned that we can have the signature step from the famous footballer standing like this, and that can also be a symbolic attribution. Coming to the texture, it's like we can keep it delicate, gentle, old, classy, vintage. Typography, we can cover most of the fonts that we see in the city itself, taking a reference from the Paris metro rail. The metro station has a typical font that you can see everywhere. So maybe we can take reference of that. Also, we have suggestions on mangoes, poppins, and local fonts mixed with Montserrat. Yeah, we could not go to the slogan tagline part, sorry, but I do see some of the references in the screen. Yeah, maybe we can take that. Back to you, Surya.
Amazing. I mean, Ali, you did an amazing job with the team. What do you mean you did the worst thing? Chino, maybe you can show my the second room,
Yeah.
just not to lose time with resharing.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
This one. Done.
Merci. So quickly, of course, we have Louvre Museum, Mona Lisa, we have the map of France, because that could be inspiring. If you think of France, you're going to think of macarons. And then Marilla also included the beautiful, amazing ceiling designs and art. We have as well their own fashion, their own cap, this famous T-shirt that we see a lot of French women wear, and then the Eiffel Tower, of course. Now with the colors, we have the main France colors, the blue, the red, the white. And also because France people drink a lot of wine and champagne, Marilla said that the champagne color could be used as well in the branding, so that was smart. Now with symbols and icons, Chino, if you can go a little bit down. Yeah, you know, the first picture summarizes everything. Like you have the croissant, you have the nature, you have their baguette, the color palette, their champagne bottle, and also they have amazing food. Although I might not agree with French fries because it's not theirs, and they don't claim that French fries is theirs. And if we have a Belgian person here, we're sorry. But they have amazing onion soup and soups. They have amazing cheese. So obviously they have to use that in their branding. Their lobsters, snails, and then I forgot what was the name of that instrument, Marilia, but they can see it.
French horn.
Yeah, French horn. Yeah, that's so, yeah. It's as easy as that. And then they run away because, you know, France is all about fashion. And if there's someone Italian here, also Italy is known for their fashion. Now with texture and vibes, Marilia said it feels nostalgic to think of France or French. And I said that France at night is romantic and it's the love city, obviously. So people would go there under the Eiffel Tower with the amazing lightings, and then they're gonna enjoy it. Now with typography and font, I said that usually I know that French people use cursive handwriting, and you can search and see that if you write cursive font, you will see it, it's in French. And voila, that's it. This is the activity. I'm gonna wrap up really quickly, but thank you so much for joining us this session. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed this activity. We might share this inspiration with the COT of Wikimedia. Who knows, maybe this helped them in the design process. But before we jump off, if I could ask you please to fill in the survey and feedback form, which will help us to grow more and and organize better future learning clinics. And if you have any suggestions, any topics that you want us to focus on, you know how you can reach out to us and whom. So my colleague shared the link, the feedback link, Mentimeter, in the chat. Please, if you can take a few moments to fill that, and we're going to say au revoir.